All right, let's talk about what it really takes to get a handle on a modern accounting platform. And I'll give you a hint right up front. It has way less to do with just clicking the right buttons and a whole lot more to do with building the right team. So picture this. You've done it. You've launched that business you've been dreaming about for years. The passion is there, customers are actually walking in the door, but then reality hits. The not so glamorous part, managing the money. We're talking invoices, bills, taxes. For so many business owners, this is where the dream can start to feel like a real nightmare. To make this all feel a bit more real, let's follow the story of a fictional shop from our source material called Julie's Flowers. Now, Julie is amazing with flowers, but like most entrepreneurs, she needs a rock-solid system to keep her shop's finances healthy and growing. Okay, so every journey has to start somewhere. For Julie, that first step is taking the reins as the primary user of her accounting platform. She's the one who's going to build the foundation for everything that comes next. So, what are Julie's first moves? Well, she gets her account created and starts plugging in all the essential details about her business. The name, where she pays taxes, the whole shebang. Right here in these first few clicks, the digital version of her business is starting to come to life. And what makes this all possible is something called cloud accounting. Think about it. Instead of software being locked away on a single computer in the back office, it's all online. This is a game changer because it means Julie, her accountant, maybe a future employee, they can all see the exact same financial data in real time from anywhere. It's all based on this idea of a single ledger, which is just a fancy way of saying there's one and only one source of truth for the business's finances. And after that little bit of setup work, here's the payoff, the dashboard. This is basically mission control for Julie's Flowers. She can see her bank balance, who owes her money, what bills she needs to pay. It's all right there at a glance. This isn't just a bunch of numbers, it's a live, breathing health check for her business that puts her squarely in the driver's seat. But of course, as Julie's Flowers starts to grow, things get more complicated. She's getting busier, and pretty soon a dashboard isn't enough. She needs someone who can help her see the bigger picture. She needs a strategic partner. And that brings us to the second key person in this ecosystem, the advisor. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The relationship with a modern advisor isn't just about handing over a shoebox of receipts once a year. It's a true partnership. And when it's built on trust and great communication, that's when you can do some really powerful, impactful work together. So what's the big deal about a modern advisor? Well, it all comes down to one word: proactive. See, a reactive advisor is always looking in the rearview mirror, just dealing with last year's taxes or problems that have already happened. But a proactive advisor is looking ahead, out the windshield. They use the financial data to help Julie anticipate challenges, manage her cash flow, and plan for what's coming next. They turn data into actual business intelligence. So how do you actually build that kind of powerful partnership? It's a process, for sure. It all kicks off with a really thoughtful onboarding to make sure everyone's on the same page. But from there, it's all about proactive advice and an advisor who genuinely tries to understand the business inside and out. Each one of these steps builds on the last, transforming the relationship from just a service into a real strategic alliance. Okay, so at this point, Julie's business is humming along. She's got her daily finances under control, and she's got a strategic advisor helping her plan for the future. But her business is unique, and as it gets bigger, she starts running into problems that the standard software just can't solve by itself. And this is where our third key player, the developer, steps onto the scene. I mean, think about it. What if Julie wants to connect a super specific inventory system for tracking rare orchids? Or what if she needs to integrate a specialized booking platform for wedding consultations? What happens when the out-of-the-box solution just doesn't quite cut it anymore? And you don't have to take my word for it. A developer from our sources put the problem perfectly. He said that handling data syncing between different applications can be a total headache. Getting different systems to talk to each other without messing up is a huge technical challenge. Making sure customer info, sales data, and inventory levels are all perfectly in sync, that's where you absolutely need specialized skills. So, how do developers tackle these complex problems? Through a really disciplined process. It's not just about hammering out code. It's about using project management tools to keep everything organized, constantly learning to stay on top of new tech, and being crystal clear with the business owner about what's possible. And of course, before anything goes live, they test, and then test some more to make sure it all works perfectly. So we've walked through Julie's journey and met the three critical people who helped her business thrive. Now let's zoom out and tie this all together to see the big picture. And this right here, this is the main idea. Mastering modern accounting isn't really about becoming a software guru. The software, it's just a tool. The real power, the real magic, comes from the ecosystem of people who use that tool together. It all begins with the user. This is your business owner, like Julie, who's on the front lines every single day, using that dashboard to keep a finger on the pulse of the business. Then you have the advisor. They're looking at that very same data, but they see something different. They see patterns and possibilities, and they transform those numbers into a forward-looking strategy that guides the business toward its goals. And finally, you've got the developer, working quietly behind the scenes. They're the ones building the custom bridges and pipelines that make the whole system fit the business like a glove, making sure every piece of information flows exactly where it's supposed to. So I want you to think about your business's finances like a high-performance engine. The software, that's the engine block. It's the core. But it can't run all by itself. It needs a skilled driver, a brilliant strategist calling the shots from the pit wall, and an expert mechanic to keep it all perfectly tuned. So the real question is, who's on your team?